Next, tragedy strikes, accidents happen. Be there when the calls come in. It's back-to-back episodes of Rescue 911. Next on Discovery Health Channel.
This is 911. Do you have an emergency?
Today on Rescue 911. It's a deadly downhill ride when a snow tube tumbles out of control.
I can't feel my legs!
On Rescue 911.
On February 13th, 1988, in Laramie, Wyoming, some teenagers with a local church group headed out to go snow tubing. On that day, they discovered that life sometimes deals us challenges that can test our strength and our ability to overcome adversity.
It's a little frightening to think that so many people take families up to steep mountainous areas to go tubing and don't realize how really dangerous it is. We average a death and a paralysis per year. And this is just one small area where we live here with a population of only 25,000.
Dana Williams had organized the church youth group outing that day, which included her 17-year-old daughter, Shauna.
Shauna and Tana and Joe headed up there, up the hill, and got up there, and a couple of the other boys started down on their inner tube. And Shauna and Tana and Joe decided they'd move their inner tube over a little ways, so it looked like a more direct path down the hill.
This looks good. Okay, I'm gonna hit her. All right, wait a minute. Okay.
Ready?
Ready? Okay, let's go.
Shauna's best friend, Leah Meredith, was watching from nearby.
There was no stopping that inner tube at all because it was going so fast.
Oh my God, they're going too fast! Oh my God! Oh my God!
Tana hit a tree with her face, so everyone ran down to see if she was all right, and there was just blood everywhere. She had some cuts on her face, but she wasn't hurt all that bad.
And I ran up there and I said, Shauna, are you all right? And Shauna's head popped back and her eyes got about as big as saucers. And I thought she was dead.
A bystander ran for help. EMT Jim Choate happened to be cross-country skiing in the area.
I need some help. There's been a girl hurt up on the hill. Jim, where's she at?
I didn't have any medical equipment at all. But by having the medical experience that I did, I thought I might be able to help.
And I said, are you okay? Are you okay? And she said, Mom. She said, Mom, am I dreaming? Wake me up. I can't feel my legs.
We're gonna get you off the mountain. We're gonna get you to the hospital. You're gonna be fine.
And about that time, out of nowhere, came the EMT.
My name's Jim. I'm an EMT. What happened?
I was so thankful that somebody was there that could take charge and do what needed to be done.
I want you to squeeze for me, okay?
When I was doing my initial assessment, she said she had no feeling in her legs. Also, she complained of some severe chest pain.
Push on my hands.
It appeared that her level of consciousness was going down and we needed to get her off the mountain.
A call for help sent a medic unit from the Laramie Fire Department to the scene.
What I'm gonna need is I'm gonna need a jacket, a vest, something small from something to use as a sea collar. Does anybody have a...
Time was critical if she had a ruptured aorta or anything like that. And so we fashioned things that we could just to get her immobilized the best that we could and get her down the mountain.
Out, okay? 1, 2, 3, lift.
Okay, nice easy step.
They picked her up off the hill. She said, Mom, don't cry. Mom, please don't cry. And I said, Shauna, I won't cry if you don't cry. And we kind of made that pact, and so the two of us tried to just be as strong as we could.
Much more than a job for me.
Sunday, catch back-to-back episodes of Dr. G, Medical Examiner.
The people I see in the morning didn't know that they were going to die last night.
This top medical examiner has critics hooked. Find out for yourself why Dr. G is considered fascinating and compassionate.
You're the one putting the pieces together.
Dr. G, Medical Examiner. Watch back-to-back episodes Sunday starting at 9, with an all-new episode coming March 11th on Discovery Health Channel.
Shauna was rushed to Ivinson Memorial Hospital, where she was admitted under the care of ER physician Carrie Simon.
Open again. She was brought in on the toboggan, still immobilized. She was not moved or her position changed. And a portable x-ray machine was brought in, and we immediately took x-rays of her lateral spine from the neck clear down to the low back. Then asked Dr. Heracopoulos to bring them back. I wanted to go over the x-rays with them.
Shauna's father, Richard, was notified of the accident and headed to the hospital, where his wife explained what had happened.
Of course, I think like anybody in that situation has hope for the best. My initial reaction was maybe that she had a pinched nerve or something along those lines.
Feel sharp to you at all? Okay, how about here? No? Does it start feeling up in here?
Yeah,
right about here. Okay.
From an examination of Shauna and her x-rays, orthopedic surgeon Dr. David Kiefer determined that her spinal cord had been severed. She was paralyzed from the chest down.
Dr. Kiefer came into the room and asked us to come into the hallway, and he said, I would consider Shauna a paraplegic from this point forward, and this is what I'd do. And I just looked at him, and I thought, you can't be telling me this. You can't be telling me this about her. She likes to ski, and she likes to dance, and she likes to ride bikes. You can't tell this to me.
Going through my mind was, well, this is where we're at. Now what do we have to do next? Where do we go from this point?
Shauna was transferred to Craig Hospital in Denver to begin daily physical therapy to build up her strength and learn how to cope with her new limitations.
The rehabilitation was probably the hardest thing that I'd ever had to go through in my whole life. Learning how to be 17 and knowing that this is probably how it's going to be the rest of your life. But I've learned that you have to be able to have strength in yourself and knowing that you can do whatever you want to do regardless of what the odds are against you.
She was so strong. She was so strong.
That's the way.
Richard and I were just sitting in there one day, and poor Rich put his head down on his arm there in the hospital and just started crying, and she reached over with her hand on his head and she said, "Don't cry, Dad. It's not so bad."
In the 4 years since the accident, Shauna Williams has rebuilt her life. She now works at a bank and lives on her own.
It's really nice knowing that I can live by myself. So when I very first came home from the hospital, I didn't think that was ever going to be possible.
You can use that one.
I admire Shauna's strength a lot because I feel that if I was in that situation, I don't think I would be as independent. I don't think I would be as strong as she is, and I really admire her, and I always have. I had always ridden horses before my accident, and so after the accident, I decided that I wanted to try it again. And when I came back home, then we got the horses out here and started riding, and it's wonderful. It's a good way to get up and out of the chair.
Our dreams really are to be able to start a handicap, wheelchair accessible dude ranch where differently abled people can come and ride horses and go fishing and go snow machining.
I would hope the future would hold being able to walk again, but if it doesn't, that's fine. I'd like to live on a ranch, raise horses. It'd be wonderful. It doesn't matter if you're in a chair or if you're walking, you can do anything you want to do. You might have to do it in a little bit different way, but if you really want to do it, there's nothing that can stop me from doing things that I want to do. I don't feel there's anything I can't accomplish, ever.
We all should take first aid and CPR courses every year. By learning basic life-saving techniques, we might be able to save the life of someone we love. This series is dedicated to all the men and women who answer our calls for help and are there when we need them most. I'm William Shatner. Join us again next week for more true stories on Rescue 911.
Next, step inside the command center where the calls for help are answered and meet the real-life heroes who save lives. Stay tuned for another episode of Rescue 911, next on Discovery Health Channel. Real life, medicine, miracles.
Mr. Shapiro, step out of the car, please.